All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. 2 videos in one day. Look at that. Woo! All right, so I have a great video. I got to figure out what I'm going to title this because it's kind of going to be all based around Paul Felder, but and no one will watch it if I say it's about Paul Felder. So I got to figure out a clever way to title this because this is a gold video. I'm going to warn you in advance. You know, I think usually when I do that, like if I'm like, you know, because I crank out videos. I told you guys I'll do videos every day. And so like I feel obligated to do it. So I will do it. But some days I'm like, oh, this is going to be a unique take on something that I have never heard anyone else talk about. Okay, so few things about the Paul Felder story. All right, so here's the deal. So this started, the way the video that I already shot and then now I'm reshooting started was I was talking about the Paul Felder and Conor McGregor interaction because it's hilarious, right? So Conor McGregor says Paul Felder's not really Irish. Paul Felder goes, oh, well, you know, because he said that Felder is a German name. And so Felder goes, well, if we're going by that logic, then McGregor is Scottish. So you must be Scottish. And I'll tell you what, why don't you just go focus? Why don't you go blow some lines instead of worrying about me? He said, why don't you go blow some lines? Okay, that's hilarious, right? And it's also hilarious. And then when you understand how Irish people view Americans that call themselves Irish, it's equally hilarious, right? Because this is the thing that I do know for a fact. If you're an Irish person or people who are born and raised in Ireland, and then an American comes to Ireland who is of Irish descent, they go, yeah, I'm Irish. The people in Ireland are like, you're American, you fucking idiot. Okay? Like what we consider in America, like, yeah, I'm Irish. That's not Irish to people from Ireland. They're like, what, because your great grandpa is Irish? That doesn't make you Irish. You're born and raised in America. You're American. And really, it's only in America where we do that thing, right? Like where it's like people refer to themselves as French if they're from France, or they refer to themselves as British if they're from the UK, etc. It's only in America where like we don't just say like, yeah, I'm American. Everybody's like, oh, you know, yeah, I'm Italian, or, you know, half Italian and then half German. It's, you know, it is kind of weird. You can say like my ancestors, but anyway, so that's ridiculous to Irish people. So that already makes sense, okay? But here's the other thing. So Paul Felder had a quote at the end of this article that was genius and relates right back to what I've been talking about capturing hype, right? So this is exactly what Paul Felder said about this upcoming fight. And about who he wanted to fight after. He says, I've got to win this 5-day fight first before I can even start talking about that kind of thing. Obviously, these are fights that I want. If I win Saturday, these are fights that I would like to get. Getting my name out there, doing things like this and getting to the exposure, you've got to do some bold things sometimes to get your name out there and get people interested in you. Okay, so exactly. And so he understands the game, right? And I'm going to tie this back to Khamzat Chimaev, okay? Because this is the thing. I thought about that. So he takes his 5-day notice fight against Rafael dos Anjos, a game fighter, to get a top billing position, right? And I'll just even say this. The fact that Dan Hooker went where Dan Hooker went, you know, I mean, obviously he lost to Dustin Poirier, but like Dan Hooker is considered like a kind of above the middle tier, you know, kind of right underneath the top tier contenders, and Paul Felder's not really there. When in reality, Paul Felder and Dan Hooker fought one of the most incredible fights ever, and it, in all intents and purposes, should have been a draw. He lost a split decision where the judges is basically like, I guess I got to give this to somebody. You know, one guy's like, I think Paul won, and this guy's like, I think Dan won, and this other guy's like, Dan? And then Dan Hooker's off to the races, and Paul Felder's stuck down here. It's ridiculous. It was completely even fight. But anyway, so, but the Khamzat Chimaev thing, okay, because it was like, oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't even think about this, right? Now, I kind of said this, but not this directly, right? When Khamzat Chimaev was calling everyone out in the division, only Neil Magny was like, I'll take that fight. Dude, where the fuck was every other fighter in the UFC at middleweight and welterweight? Everyone should have been begging for that fight. Begging for that fight. Begging for it, okay? This is what Chito Vera demonstrated, right? Chito Vera gets Sean O'Malley. How many people know who Chito Vera is that didn't know who Chito Vera was before, right? He wins by this weird thing where he kicks, you know, he calf kicks him and he hits him in the perennial nerve. It's a fluky, weird thing, but he's still, Chito Vera now is a name. Like his value is immensely higher. And he fought a guy who hadn't beat anyone in the top 10, right? Like it's like, when Khamzat Chimaev has all that hype, every single fighter should have been begging for that fight because all that matters is the attention that you have. That's literally all that matters. Like people are like focused on rank. They're like, oh, well, he's unranked, you know, so it's a big risk. Like, you know, he doesn't even have a number next to his name. It's like, dude, he has the most attention of anyone in the UFC. You should be begging for that fight. begging for it if you think that you can beat him. I mean, unless you think you can't beat him, the only reason that you should not be begging for it is if you literally are like, I can't beat that guy. And I don't think he's shown anything. If you're a top 10 guy, I don't think that he's shown anything that a top 10 guy should be like, wow, that looks like an insurmountable challenge. Now, he might be that, but we don't know. So everyone should have been begging for that fight, begging for it, right? I mean, that just shows how weak the fight game is across the board in these guys. And Leon Edwards, it sounds like he almost got like blackmailed into taking it. They're like, yeah, you're not ranked anymore. You know, you're too much inactivity. You're unranked. Even though he got trapped in the UK, he was supposed to fight Tyron Woodley. And COVID did him in. He's like, inactivity. Like, I wanted that fight worse than anything. Like, I got trapped in the UK. But, you know, I mean, basically they blackmailed him into doing it because the UFC knew what I would know, which was that's the fight to make. You know, because Leon Edwards is on an 8-fight win streak. And if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, he's a star. And if Khamzat Chimaev wins, he's a star. One fighter's coming out of that fight, a star. There is so much on the line in that fight. Like, because what really matters is you being a star. That's what matters. And that's what's on the line for both of them. Khamzat Chimaev, if he loses to Leon, hype gone, right? If Leon loses to Khamzat Chimaev, then Khamzat Chimaev is off to the races, and he's kind of like, you know, everyone's like, oh yeah, I knew he hadn't really fought anyone that good. They're gonna do that shit, right? And the winner is, it's a huge fight, man, a huge fight. And so everybody else blew it. Everybody should have been begging for that fight, man, begging for it. Even though this was the fight to make, though. Leon and Khamzat Chimaev, this was definitely the fight to make. So yeah, so there's that. Okay. Now here's another thing that I want to talk about because I had this other. So one thing I was talking about when I was talking about the Dan Hooker fight with Paul Felder was I was saying, like, dude, Paul Felder wears it. Like when he's fighting, you know, he's like a guy because he's so pasty. You know, when he gets hit, it's kind of like Ronda Rousey, where when he gets hit, his face gets so red, right? Like in his legs, it's so red. They just look so. He by nature just looks super beat up throughout the fights, even if he's taking equal punishment to another guy. Like especially if he fought like a black fighter, right? Like you can't see the damage on them, right? And I was thinking about this. I was like, dude, you know what honestly would be a smart play? Seriously, I'm not joking about this. A smart play would be for fighters to bronze like a bodybuilder before the fights. I'm totally serious about this. Okay, and the reason is because. Why would you want your opponent or the judges to be able to see damage inflicted on you? You would never want that. I'm not talking about like the way, you know, like bodybuilders do it so they look buff. I'm saying hide the damage. Okay? So I'm totally serious about this. And I've never heard anyone talk about this before, but I will stand by it. That is a correct play. Now they'll probably be embarrassed and they'll be like, you know, Paul Felder comes out all bronze, he looked fucking ridiculous. But he'll get attention, and also you won't be able to see the marks that are all over him because the judges are gonna, if they're making tight decisions and they're like, I don't know, like I can't really choose. This guy looks pretty fucked up though. I guess it's probably the other guy. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason for you to want anyone to be able to see damage, and also you don't want, like, if your leg's all bruised up, you don't want to show your opponent that you're bruised. Like the, you know, Dominic Reyes against Jan Blachowicz. You think there's upside in there being a baseball bat sized bruise across his ribs? I mean, there's obviously not, you know. So anyway, that's pretty much what I got. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends. Peace.